Welcome to the Hormone Health Boss Show, where each week we will explore the tools, strategies, and education you need to confidently advocate for your health, reduce your symptoms, and navigate your journey from peri to postmenopause like a boss. I'm on a mission to ensure all women receive the great menopause care they deserve, because no one should feel dismissed, overwhelmed, or left in the dark about their health. This show is empowering you to thrive in midlife, because just surviving isn't good enough. You have a purpose, my friend, and this world needs you at your best. It's time to thrive like the boss you are. Let's get started. Hey there, girlfriend. Welcome back to episode 3 of the Hormone Health Boss Show. I am so glad that you are here today and joining me. Last week, we talked about the roller coaster ride of perimenopause and really dove into why you may be feeling so out of control some days, why your symptoms just feel unpredictable, unreliable, and one day might be okay and the next day is not. And then at the end of last week's episode, I challenged you to pay attention to what you were putting on your plate, how often you're eating, and what you feel like afterwards. That's because I knew this week we were going to dive in to one of the most magical midlife strategies I can offer you. What if I told you that I have a simple solution to help you stop your cravings and snacking, give you more energy and vitality, and prevent you from long-term disease and reduce your waistline? You would say, Katie, that's just impossible. There is no strategy. Or you would say, Katie, that is so expensive. Well, today I'm going to tell you the secret because I want you to have a quick win this week where you feel really empowered and you notice some actual changes in your life. So let's get started. Okay, so you may have already guessed, protein is my magical midlife strategy that will help you with your energy, your weight management, and your blood sugar. So before we talk about why we utilize protein as a powerhouse keystone strategy in midlife, let's talk about what protein does. What does it do? Well, protein is the macronutrient that provides the structural building blocks that are used to create new body tissues and repair old ones. So think of protein as the foundation to a house. If you try to build on that foundation with other macronutrients like fats and carbs, without protein as the base, your house is going to fall apart. Protein helps you recover from exercise. It builds and repairs muscles and tissues, stabilizes your blood sugar, manages your body weight and body composition by enhancing your metabolic rate, and it improves your satiety. So we know protein is important to our health and to our life. And that's true for all of us, whether we are 10 or 20 or 40 or 60. It is important for everyone to have adequate protein intake. But in midlife, there are a few other health concerns and declines happening that are going to require us to have more and more protein. So first of all, midlife is a season of declining hormones in the natural aging process. And we've already talked about how that is a bad combination. But in relation to the midlife woman, what happens when those two things come together is something called anabolic resistance. As we age, our muscles become less responsive to protein, which increases our risk of muscle loss and strength more than men our same age. So protein can help combat this process and protect muscle and muscle mass and muscle strength. Obviously, that's going to keep us stronger and it's going to prevent us from falling and fracturing, which is what keeps us out of a nursing home in our 70s. The second thing that we see happening in midlife is blood sugar imbalances and insulin resistance. That's going to lead to hunger, cravings, and low energy. It's super common in midlife and because of those declining hormones, because estrogen actually helps regulate our insulin response. So as estrogen declines, we're going to have more and more blood sugar issues. So if you have noticed that you have a little bit more of a sweet tooth as you've gotten older, this could be due to blood sugar spikes and crashes throughout the day. Imbalanced insulin and blood sugar is going to lead to another roller coaster ride of feeling tired, hungry, and craving foods all day long. Adjusting your ratio of protein to carbohydrates can dramatically improve that response. If your body is constantly on this roller coaster ride, you are going to be exhausted and always looking for food. Eventually, it's going to lead to prediabetes or diabetes. The third thing that happens is our body composition changes, and that changes due to several reasons, right? We lose muscle mass, we have declining hormones, we have an increase in cortisol, more belly fat around the middle, and our hunger hormones become imbalanced. So as insulin resistance increases and our diet becomes more and more carb focused because of that sweet tooth, the body is constantly going to be looking for the macronutrient it needs most, which is protein. And it's going to keep searching for that until we have found the right amount and satisfied our body with the right amount of protein that we need. So protein will not only keep you feeling fuller longer, it's going to help reduce your cravings, and therefore it won't be as hard to stop snacking, right? We as women, I think every woman that I work with would admit to snacking or grazing throughout the day. And whether that is because of habit or that's because of cravings, we do it, right? So midlife women naturally just fall into that trap of eating every couple of hours, almost as a coping mechanism to the roller coaster ride that they feel inside their bodies due to the imbalanced insulin. As you focus more and more on protein intake, you're going to feel less hungry. You're going to supply your body with that macronutrient that it needs to build and repair the muscles. And overall, you're going to improve your body composition and your waistline. So before we go, I want to talk about some common mistakes that we frequently make as we transition in midlife. So as we start packing on the pounds, and we get really concerned about our body composition, so many women I work with have switched to low calorie, low fat, plant-based diets, and they feel like nothing is working. Well, plant-based diets often are higher in carbohydrates rather than protein. And it perpetuates that cycle of insulin resistance and weight gain. So if you've been focusing mostly on plant-based diet, like a vegetarian or vegan diet, I want you to keep in mind the carb to protein ratio is really high. It's going to be difficult to get your minimum daily requirement of protein and keep your carbohydrates low or low to moderate if you're using plants only. So let me give you an example. You would need to eat 6 cups of quinoa to get the same amount of protein that's in 1 chicken breast. So it's like eating 240 grams of carbohydrates to get 1 chicken breast of protein. So that's more than 3 times the total carb intake you should have in a day. So I want you to focus a little bit more on animal protein sources like beef, poultry, fish, eggs. They're not only high in protein, but they have essentially no carbohydrates. So they're easily digestible and they're packed full of nutrients your body needs, whereas a lot of plant-based options have phytonutrients that can actually block the absorption of nutrients. So how much protein should you be getting in midlife? Well, protein goals are going to range a little bit. But most women are getting about 60 grams of protein or less in their diet each day, which is less than the minimum RDA. But our target should be a minimum of 100 grams per day, minimum. When I work with women, our target goal is 35 grams of protein per meal. Start with that, and you're going to work your way up from there, because that may seem like a lot to you if you're getting just 60 grams a day. Ultimately, we want to go from 100 grams a day to 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So if your ideal body weight is 125, then you want to be eating 125 grams of protein. So don't rely just on protein supplements and powders as your main source of protein. I want you to Really focus on whole foods and then use supplements just to fill in the gaps, right? Now, one last tip here. As you're adding more and more protein in your diet, it is essential that you are hydrating well. Water is going to help your body break down and process and flush toxins out of your body. So I want you to shoot for about 80 to 100 ounces of water per day, okay? If you do those two things this week, 100 grams of protein and 80 to 100 ounces of water, you are going to feel amazing, I promise. So for this week, your challenge is simple. Just track your protein. Most women think they're getting more than they're getting in their diet. So I think you're going to be surprised. If you write this down, you can write it in a journal. You can use an app on the computer or some type of tracking device. If you would like my free app, I will drop the link below in the show notes for you to get access to my free app, which is a great tracker. You can track your mood, your food, your water intake. You literally can track everything. So if you're interested in that, just grab the link in the show notes. But it's important that you track what you're eating. So your goal is 35 grams of protein per meal and 80 to 100 ounces of water. And I know you can do this, okay? And pay attention how you're feeling after your meals. Pay attention to your cravings and your energy level because I know it's going to soar. All right, girlfriend, increasing your protein is one of the simplest yet most powerful changes you're going to be able to make in your health and in your hormones and reduce your symptoms and feel better. So the best news is you can do this one meal at a time. Don't feel overwhelmed. Don't feel like you have to have this perfect in 1 week. If this concept is new for you, just focus on progress over perfection, right? When you enter the kitchen to prepare your meal, just be mindful of the amount of protein you're incorporating into your meal. And you're going to be surprised at how much better you feel. So our time this week has come to a close, but if you want to learn more, or you want to join the conversation, I want you to check out my private Facebook group called Peri to Post Menopause Made Simple. And you can join the conversation. You can share your experiences, or you can just drop me a question. I love to hear your feedback, and I want to know what you want to learn about next. So for now, keep thriving like the boss you are, and I will see you next week.